Welcome to Phillip Island, Victoria in Australia. What a setting we have for this great sporting contest, the Little Penguin Sea to Dune race. Nervous moments always as they gather on the beach, the tension mounting, and away they go. There's the defending champion, wearing his familiar navy blue and white, great waddling style. Another pre-race favourite though, losing touch with the pack. Maybe that's why. A few too many fish in the day's feeding. There's a familiar face, Skip McIntyre, 8 times a champion back in the 90s, a very successful coach now, keeping a keen eye on proceedings. This the leading group, 1 or 2 still able to put on a show for the camera, others just ploughing straight over it. Some resorting to shortcuts. Sad that cheating has crept into this beautiful sport. The judges will have a look at that. But up at the front, the pace is relentless, closing in on those sand dunes that will offer a bed for the night. The fatigue starting to tell. Who's got the finishing kick up on the outside? What a turn of pace from that one, whichever one it is. No answer from the rest, and he takes victory. What a win. There we are, into the Burrow, building an extension with his winnings, and back tomorrow to try and defend his title here on Phillip Island.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Live Penguin TV. My name's Sky. I'm joined by the lovely T tonight.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Penguin Live TV. Now, I'm going to be trying to answer some of your very tricky questions on Facebook and YouTube. If there's any really good questions, though, I'll throw them to Sky, see if we can stump her. Have a fabulous night, and I reckon the Penguins aren't going to be far away from doing their dangerous dash.
Yeah, no, we've already got penguins on the water's edge, everybody. You can see them. They just arrived. We've got a call from Sally, our penguin counter. Of course, we count the penguins every night, and she told us there is a raft coming into Penguins Plus, so they just arrived before we went live. So I thought, right, I'm going to zoom in and start the night with some nice, up-close, personal penguin viewing. There they are, standing on the rocks, getting ready to make the dangerous dash. So yes, penguins were on the water's edge at bang on 8:20, I think we said, wasn't it, T?
And we've just had an official start at 8:22.
Ooh, so they're crossing somewhere else, I guess, not here. So we start the count when 5 penguins have made it halfway across the beach. But there's not 5 penguins halfway across the beach here. So I would say somewhere, let's have a quick little look. Somewhere down the beach, we've had a little group of penguins cross. Now they might have already got halfway. Oh, there they go. They're just in amongst that seaweed there. That's the 5 surely that Sally must be looking at.
Yep.
Hiding on this side of seaweed. I can only actually see 1 at the moment, but maybe it's the tail edge of a group that already went, one that got left behind. Because yeah, as I said, we don't start the count until there's 5, because of course every now and then there can be a maverick rogue penguin who just comes in by itself really early, and you can just imagine if an hour before all the rest of the penguins come in, one slightly batty penguin comes in a little bit early or an hour early, and then we start the count, 50 minutes, no extra penguins, it'd be a waste. So 5. Once 5, we figure that 5 5 penguins will be sensible enough to come in at the correct time. And after that, it's all hands on deck counting. When I say that, it's just really it's just a busy time for the penguin counter, isn't it? For 50 minutes, 50 minutes, while we count these penguins as they cross the beach. On the topic of the penguin count, last night was another smaller night compared to what we've had for a while recently, wasn't it, T?
It was indeed. So last night we had 884.
884 penguins, and they started the cross at 8:30, so significantly earlier, 8 minutes earlier tonight. It is a dark, cloudy, windy night. My car almost felt like it was getting blown off the road as I drove here, T. So it's a bit of an unpleasant night out there tonight. I'm very happy to be in the studio, very happy to be inside with my short sleeves, out of the weather tonight. I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are coming to you live from today. That is the Bunurong of the Kulin Nation. And I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And we'd love to know in the comments what land you're watching on tonight. If you're from Australia, do let us know. It's important to know these things. Well, we're coming to you from Bunurong country. We're coming to you from Malau. That is the Bunurong name for Phillip Island, which is, of course, a little island off the coast of Victoria in Australia, about an hour and a half from Melbourne, and it is home to the biggest colony of little penguins in the world. We've got 32,000 of them, more or less, roughly speaking. We haven't literally counted every single one, but when we do a penguin census, we get a pretty good idea. And on last count, about 32,000 is where we put the numbers. And Phillip Island's also home to, what else are we home to? We are home to, the Koala Conservation Reserve. So we're Phillip Island Nature Parks. We look after the Koala Conservation Reserve. We look after the Nobbies and the Antarctic Journey. We look after most of the south-facing beaches. Today on Facebook, we showcased Kitty Miller Bay, which is a lovely, good little surf break, actually, and on the south side of the island. We look after Churchill Island, Churchill Island Heritage Farm. Oh, they're making the dash. Oh gosh, look at that one out the front, absolutely racing. Oh, and he's made it. It was the winner. Oh, maybe there was another one. He looked like he might have just pipped it at the end, but I think it made it to the rocks first. Geez, that was a little race for a moment, wasn't it? That little one at the front was not waiting for no penguin. It was in. But yeah, so here at Phillip Island Nature Parks, we are self-funded or visitor-funded. We are not-for-profit. And we're a conservation organisation. We do research and education and lots of conservation for Malau, for Phillip Island. And we really do rely on visitors to come and fund the important conservation work that we do. And another little location that we haven't talked about much on the live stream is the Barb Martin Bushbank. As these penguins come running in. Oh gosh, falling down the hill. Oh no! Oh gosh! This is a penguin tumbling area. Oh my goodness! This is these other penguins are waiting now. It's a big jump actually. These penguins here are going. Hang on, this is quite a difficult area to get down. They're taking it a bit slower. They've seen their penguiny pals absolutely turf it. And have realised, we're not going to, we're going to go a little bit more carefully now. Oh gosh, that was a bit of a crash zone for a moment there, T. But I was telling you about the bushbank.
So I just want to let everybody know that we are having troubles with our Facebook feed. So comments, people, if you can put them on YouTube until we get that error fixed up. Okay,
is there anything I can do to help, T? Or is it more on a different end? Not sure. All right, well, come to us on YouTube if you're having trouble on Facebook. On our end, Facebook's looking good, at least on my very limited end. It's looking okay, so not sure what's going on there.
The video's working okay, it's just that the comments.
The comments. Oh, okay. Very interesting indeed. Okay. Yep, so if you've got a question, come to us on YouTube. We may not have many questions from the comments tonight.
And I just had the number for the first group that came through. Was 51.
51, little group of 51. How'd your counting go? Are you guys still practicing your penguin counting? Any budding penguin counters out there? Oh, I've just spotted a goose. It's just on the screen above me there, which means that it must be along... Oh, and something just ran past. But, where are you, goosey, goosey, goose? Must be around here, because I can... Oh, there's two. Further down. I can see you in the corner of the shot, so where are you? Maybe if I zoom right out. I want to see these geeseys. And it sort of seems to be stopping some of our penguins walking a little bit, wherever these geese are. Ah, here they are. Hello, geese. So these are Cape Barren geese. These are a very rare type of goose, which is hilarious when you live on Phillip Island because they are everywhere. There they go. They think they're penguins. They're walking along the penguin parade area. But they are everywhere. Cape Barren geese, but a very rare goose, usually in most parts of the world. And they can be found in islands all across the southern coast of Australia. And yep, they are walking down the penguin pathway, it looks like. Not a care in the world. And the penguins, yeah, not so sure of them. All right, let's see if the penguins are going to come along now that the geese are clearing their path. Let's keep walking. Oh, yep, there they come. So let's flick to the highway camera so you can watch them walk. Waddling along that penguin highway there, and I'm just casting my eyes out to the main beach while we wait. But let's have a look at these little penguins go. So seeing some very chunky penguins. It is the start of the molting season, of course, which means that they are going to be pushing out all of their penguiny feathers. Oh, yep, they're following along these geese. There's the geese, and before too long, yep, some trepidation from our little penguins as they follow along. Keeping their distance. Waiting. Yeah, they're pausing, giving them a bit more space. And they'll follow along. But I do want to flick cameras because, it's starting to rain by the looks of it. Okay. We do have some big numbers.
I've got one cheeky comment about the Cape Barren geese versus the penguins.
Oh, yes?
From Adam.
Hi, Adam.
They're like the parade's version of Bowser. Cape Barren Bowsers versus the Penguin Marios.
Oh, a little sort of a Nintendo,
yep.
Super Mario kind of reference there. Is Super Mario the one from like the 90s T? Am I really showing my age?
It is indeed.
I'm sure there's newer versions. Do feel free to let me know what they are. I'm not very good at computer games. I can't do it's too confusing with the hands.
And we got 95 in that second big group.
Oh, that second big group. So we just caught the tail end of that, and now she's going to have the trouble of counting this mess. Now, this mess is my worst nightmare because they are just all spreading out. At least if they go in a group, you can sort of go, or like a line, you can sort of go, all right, looks like there's about 3 across there going. So if I just sort of count it and then times it by 3, maybe that's how you might sort of come to a number. Whereas this is just so higgledy-piggledy. I don't know how you would even begin to keep track of who you'd already counted, who you hadn't. Even distinguishing that first group from this second group would be very, very difficult. On top of that, it does look like it's raining, unless this is... It does. Yeah. I sometimes think this looks like a mess of, because of the direction it goes, it looks like a mess of bugs just flying around the camera. But no, I think it is rain. But this does mean that the skybox, the room that Sally is sitting in trying to look with her binoculars, those windows will be getting hit with water. And then if she opens the window, then her binoculars will be getting hit with water as well. So, yeah, rainy night is a very difficult night for a penguin counter. Look, honestly, every single night's a difficult night for a penguin counter. I don't know how they do it. I've never had to do it officially. I've had to be on East Tea. I've never had to be the one who is actually in the skybox with the real responsibility. And I'm hoping I may not have to ever have that responsibility, because I think I'd be a disaster. Terrible penguin counter. Anyway, I've been trying for about the last 5 minutes to tell you a little bit about the Barb Martin Bushbank, because I don't think I've ever spoken about it on the live stream. Maybe some of the other hosts have, but I haven't. So we have a little bushbank. We have a little nursery where we propagate and grow local or native plants, and then we sell them and we use them ourselves. So we sort of grow our own plants when we're doing revegetation work. We use the plants that we propagate, and then we also sell them to the local community for a good price, I believe, so that they can plant these plants, these local native plants, in their gardens, so that we can be promoting our own bees, we can be promoting local plants here on the island. And it is almost completely volunteer run. So there's about one member of staff who does a bit of work in the Barb Martin Bushbank, but the rest is run by volunteers, and they're very dedicated volunteers, these Barb Martin Bushbank volunteers. And I happened to call in today, and I was watching them planting and propagating the plants, getting ready for opening hours, I guess, which is we're open on Saturdays. It's open on Saturdays to go in and buy your local plants so that you can do your bit for the environment and promote local pollinators and promote local species and grow nice plants and nice bushes and nice trees for local wildlife that they can enjoy. It's a really nice little place. So if you're ever on the island, and particularly on a Saturday, do call into the Barb Martin Bushbank. Great little volunteer area. Or if you ever live on the island or want to spend a bit more time down here and you want to do something, you want to help out, volunteer at the Barb Martin Bushbank. Oh, here's a waddle. Let's have a look at this. Look at this waddle of penguins coming along. Focus camera. We want to see them. Struggling. I wonder if that's to do with the rain. Come on. They're right there. Focus up. All right, let's try it in the butt position. Oh, again, it's looking okay. No, it's sort of showing. Yep, here we go. It's cleared up now. Wonder if the rain's coming in that other direction and messing with our vision just a little bit there. There's their butts waddling off into the distance. Of course, they're coming home. They spent the day out at sea getting their fish, or at least the day. Could be longer. And then they're waddling back to their burrows. Maybe they've got chicks to feed. Not so common by now. It's getting a little bit late in the season. And the chunky ones, yes, like this one at the back there. It's just having a rest. Must be pre-molt. Must be about to push out all their feathers all in one go. They have to almost double their body weight to be able to survive the 17 days, more or less, that it takes to grow a new set of feathers. You can do it, little buddy. Off you go. Hope you can get home. And remember that these penguins, some of them have a 2-kilometre journey home. 2 kilometres. Hauling all that way with your knees up near your belly button. It's a big ask. All right, let's go back to the main camera. Oh, yep, there we go. Oh, was I on the highway camera? I'm getting myself very confused now. Oh, there you go.
You're all right.
All right. So, we've got preening penguins in front of us. Oh, the rain stopped by the look of it. Lovely clear camera. Let's get a close-up view. Let's zoom in nice and close and see if we can get some focus. Oh, yeah. Hi, penguins. Good to see you home. So here we go. We've got a whole lot of preening penguins there looking after their feathers. Because, of course, they need to stay waterproof. Have we got any questions, T?
Got one question.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to make life easier for the penguins when they go fishing?
Ooh, Ooh, what can we do? So one thing that we can do, everybody, or there's actually a lot of things that we can do to help the penguins. Some people think that because if you don't live on Phillip Island, you can't... Ooh, bandicoot, bandicoot. Oh, there we go. And it's just left. Did you see it, everybody? Oh, no, there it goes again. It's just in that top corner. It's just, hang on, look, can I get there? Can I move the camera? It's just up here. Oh, yep, there we go. Hey, bandicoot.
Oh, there he is.
Go, are you going to go into a burrow? No. You're hopping around. So this is an eastern barred bandicoot, everybody. Can I get in any closer? Can we go high enough? No, I think this is the limit of the camera. It doesn't want to go any higher than that. And if you zoom out, it's a bit, oh yeah, no, that's just penguins. A bit hard to see. Yeah, I think it's gone out of our vision. That was cool though. That was an eastern barred bandicoot. Extinct in the wild on the mainland. But Phillip Island is a very safe haven for the bandicoots. They were released here just a couple of years ago and they're doing so well. There's so many of them. I reckon I see a bandicoot most nights now.
I do.
Particularly on the drive home from work. I reckon I see a bandicoot every night. That's a bit of a big call, but I reckon every night I see a bandicoot. Whereas it used to be maybe only every 3 nights or something like that. Maybe less, I don't know. We see a lot of them now though, so that's really good news. They're doing really, really well, even though they've only been with us for a few years. Anyway, I was talking about how we can help the penguins. Ooh, a bit of a fight going on? What's happening here? So there's many ways. You can often think that if you don't live near to the penguins, how could you possibly be helping the penguins? But what you have to remember is that these penguins only spend 20% of their life on land. That is a small amount of their life on land. They spend 80% of their life out in the ocean, and all the oceans connect, which means that pretty much anywhere you live in the world, you can be helping little penguins by making a few small changes in your life. And one of those is to eat sustainable seafood. So here in Australia, that is quite easy to do. There is a website. It is called the Good Fish Guide. So just look up the Good Fish Guide and it gives you all sorts of information on which fish is sustainable to eat at different times, which fish is not, and what to look out for. So if you're buying all sorts of seafood, the Good Fish Guide is the place to go. If you're buying tins or other types of sort of packaged fish, however, then sometimes all you need is to look out for the Marine Stewardship Council tick. Now that is it's a blue logo and it looks like a fish with a tick through it. And that means that you are making sustainable seafood choices. Importantly, even if you don't eat fish yourself or don't eat fish that much, if you've got a pet that likes to eat fish, for instance, a cat, check if the fish that they are eating is sustainable as well, because that is just as important. And if it's not, perhaps you might think about going for the chicken option or for a different type of meat that isn't fish-based, because that is one way to help the penguins all around the world to pick sustainable fish. Now, that is how you find sustainable fish in Australia. If you are living in a different country, have a look online to see how you can go about making sustainable choices with your fish. But there's also other ways that you can help our penguins all around the world. One of those is reducing your plastic use, your single-use plastic. So we are finding more and more plastic washing up on the beaches. This is happening all around the world, unfortunately, and we are finding rubbish from all sorts of different places. It's definitely not just Australian rubbish that is coming to Australian shores, and I'm sure some of our rubbish is ending up on other shores as well. The currents have a way of moving things all around the globe, and if things end up in the ocean, they can end up everywhere. And unfortunately, they can end up washed up on a beach. They can end up in the bellies of the penguins, and if too much ends up in the bellies, the penguins believe that they are full. They feel satiated, they feel full, but actually their belly's just full of plastic rather than actual food. And it's got to the point as well where we're even finding chicks who have never been out to the ocean. If they unfortunately pass away and we check inside their belly, we are finding that some of these chicks have have plastic debris in their bellies. They've never even been out into the ocean, but their parents are accidentally feeding them plastic, which is really sad. So try and make sure that plastic doesn't end up in the ocean by popping it in the bin. That's one way to do it. But if you just reduce the amount of plastic that is even needing to be made, that is a really good way to help the penguins. So make sure you take your take your reusable coffee cup when you get a coffee. Don't get a new one each time. Get a reusable cup and take it. Use a reusable mask. Limit your single-use plastics. There's all sorts of ways that you can reduce that. And another thing you can do is, we've got a saying here, and I think it's a really good one, and it is, take 3 for the sea. So whenever you go to the beach or a water area or anywhere really, take 3 bits of rubbish away. Now, because sometimes it can feel a bit overwhelming, can't it, T? When you look out and you just see maybe a lot of rubbish and you think, well, if I was going to start picking all these bits of rubbish up, I'd be here for an hour. So I'm just not even going to start. And what we're trying to say is, no, just do start. Just take 3 bits. That's all. Take your 3 bits. If at that point you want to stop, that's absolutely fine, because taking those 3 bits has still made a really big difference. Just 3 bits makes a really big difference. If you want to take more, absolutely go for it. But we're really just encouraging people. 3 is plenty. Take 3 every single time, and that is making a difference. You don't need to be overwhelmed. It doesn't need to take it out your whole day. Just 3 little bits of rubbish every single time you go to the beach or go to a river area or anything like that is going to make a really big difference. And of course, there's one really big one that I'm very passionate about, and that is blow bubbles, not balloons. So when balloons get let out into the air, unfortunately, they don't go up to heaven. They do pop, and they do often end up in our waterways and then end up out in our oceans. And the problem with balloons, now what I really want to stress about balloons is it's not, we haven't just picked balloons as for some reason, because they're a plasticky thing and we can say blow bubbles, not balloons, and it sounds a bit catchy. No, we're passionate about balloons specifically because balloons, when they end up in a seabird's belly, they are 32 times more likely to cause the death of that bird than a piece of hard plastic. 32 times more likely. That came from a study done by the CSIRO in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, we've got 5 minutes left. Study. You can look it up. Zoos Victoria website has stats about it. But yes, 32 times more likely to cause death, unfortunately. And I think it might be because of the way it fills the stomach, the fabric of the balloon. Then on top of that, they often have those strings, don't they? And those can cause entanglements as well. So we haven't just picked balloons as, they're a plastic thing and we can try and encourage one less plastic thing. No, of all the plastic that goes into the environment, balloons are some of the very, very worst. They're one of the worst pollutants in the ocean for seabirds. So we're really passionate about blowing bubbles instead of balloons. Or, just use bunting instead of balloons. If you're having an outdoor event, pick bunting, pick streamers, pick anything but balloons. The thing I really like about blow bubbles, not balloons, is that there's not too many people who can't go without a balloon at an outdoor event. I feel like it's a low-hanging fruit, isn't it? It's a pretty easy thing to just say, you know what, that's something I'm just not going to do anymore. It's not really necessary. If you like balloons, if you really want to use balloons, use them inside. Make sure they're disposed of carefully. Of course, we prefer no balloons, but look, as long as they're not ending up outside and in our waterways, that's the big important thing that we're really passionate about. And I feel like that's just such a small sacrifice that we can all make. It's really not that big a deal, is it? Just to choose some other forms of decorations when we're celebrating outside. So that's why I really like that one. I think it feels really manageable, and and it really does make a difference. As I said, 32 times more likely to cause death. 32. That's such a big thing. They're just so bad if they end up in a seabird's belly. So such a small difference to make. Have we got any questions or comments, T, in our last couple of minutes?
Haven't got any questions, but some wonderful comments about the hints for the Good Fish Guide, as well as balloons and not using them. One question from one viewer though. What's bunting?
Oh, bunting. Oh, it's lovely. Okay, it's those it's like those triangles on a string that you see at a fair or a showground. Yeah, it's like a string, little triangles, and it looks really sort of festive. You'll often see it sort of between buildings or at a circus or fairground. Like, it's just really festive. Look it up, bunting. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah, I love bunting.
Yeah, I love bunting too.
Yeah, and you can make it out of paper so that it's really sustainable. You can make it out of cloth and just reuse it and wash it and reuse it. Bunting's fantastic. I think it even looks better than balloons, so that would be my preference. But yeah, I guess what I'm really trying to drive home to you in this last minute of Live Penguin TV is that these changes don't need to be huge. You don't need to feel weighed down by them. And we don't need everybody to do everything perfectly all the time. What we really need is just everybody doing little bits. And if everybody does their little bits, then we can really make a big difference. And it's things like the more people who say no to straws, well, that lets businesses know, hey, straws, people aren't keen on straws anymore. People are getting really environmental. Oh, you know what? People are going to think we're doing a good job if we get rid of straws or if we use paper straws instead. And then there's an incentive, because it makes them look good, if the business is doing the right thing. And the more businesses then that are sort of doing the right thing, the better the world becomes. And maybe it's a bit cynical to say, oh, they're just doing it to look good. Maybe they care about the environment. I like to think they care about the environment. But for me, I don't really mind the motivation as long as the changes are being made. So the more that you can push for these changes, the more that you can do these changes yourself, tell your friends that you're doing these changes, make it cool, make it normal that these things are, that you're not using balloons outside. Make it cool and normal that you bring your disposable, your reusable cup. Jeez, I've got to get that right, T. Your reusable cup. Make it really cool and normal so that it's fashionable to do these things, and changes will happen because more and more businesses will go, oh, actually there's things that can be done in this sphere, and that's how things will change. But we've got to normalize a lot of these things. All right, I've gone over time. It's time to go, everybody. So I hope you've enjoyed Live Penguin TV. Make sure you donate to the Penguin Foundation. Link is in the description. That's another way to help the penguins, is donate directly to the Penguin Foundation, because that supports penguin habitats. I think that's about all I need to really tell you about for the moment. So we will see you again probably tomorrow night. We're going to be doing this for at least another week or so. So we'll see you all soon. And in the meantime, let's huck on away.
I think we shall.
All right. So bye, everyone. Jump on in,
Bye.
T. Say your goodbyes.
Bye,
and thanks for
everyone.
watching. Bye.